Hey there, good Sunday morning, and welcome into Weekend Recharge. I'm Paul Goodlow.
I'm Molly McCollum.
And I'm Lynette Charles. America's weekend depends on the weather, and we are rocking and rolling. We do have severe weather that kicks off today, and it heads right in through the rest of the week.
And for a lot of the rest of us, it feels like summer. It's April, I promise.
Yeah, but lots of storms out there, also heading across, say, the lakes, the Great Lakes, into the Northeast, but we can see more storms popping.
April, and it is still coming down in a lot of places. Now, this is good. This is our water resources for the drier months that are swiftly approaching. We have a low pressure system that's very evident on water vapor this morning. You can see it swirling there right around the Bay Area, and it's drawing all of this moisture into California and parts of Oregon and really a lot of the West Coast, seeing at least some rain today. Now, not everybody, but we are seeing some substantial rainfall for areas like Northern California. You get up to the higher elevations, then that translates into at least a little bit of snow, and we've seen a lot of snow so far for this season. Now, a lot of it happened very recently. The first part of the season was a little bit disappointing, right? But we made up for lost time very quickly. Here's the timing for us today. Maybe even some showers in northern parts of Los Angeles, San Luis Obispo seeing some showers as well, San Francisco. This entire low pressure system starts to wind its way onshore, and it really takes the better part of today. You can see more snow falling in parts of the Sierra, and then eventually we bring this entire low pressure system inland, and we bring an end to the moisture in California. But before that, we could see about up to an inch of rain. We have some of the snowfall, what you see in the blue colors, and that's just adding to our already above average snowpack. So if you have plans this weekend, perhaps at Coachella, here's the good news. We're not going to see rain in Coachella. That's sunshine pretty much all the way through, and that's a great forecast for those trying to enjoy the music festival there. Winter weather advisories, though, where we have those higher elevations, and we're going to continue to see snow falling at least through today. Now, as much snow as maybe 3 to 5 inches, perhaps 5 to 8 inches of snow. You get up towards Northern California, but we're going to bring this entire system inland, and as that happens, we dry out in California. But Paul, as we bring this low pressure system into the plains, that's when things get a little bit dicey.
Right, including the risk not only for Monday, but also as we head on towards Tuesday, not only morning, but into Tuesday afternoon.
We are going to roll this right into Tuesday. So what starts on Monday evening, we're going to be watching for the better part of Monday overnight into Tuesday morning and Tuesday evening. So let's get you the threat for Tuesday. And this includes a pretty large area of real estate. You can see it from Iowa, even portions of Nebraska, all the way back into Texas. But your eyes are likely drawn to where it says likely, and that is Des Moines, Kirksville, just outside of the Kansas City area. But pretty much anywhere that we have that red area outlined, there is a threat for severe weather. Tuesday morning, we have ongoing early morning storms. Plenty of low-level moisture in place that's being drawn up from the Gulf of Mexico. This time of year, it can travel pretty far to the north, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Now, we have plenty of instability. We know how warm it is this weekend, and that's going to roll right into the first part of the week. And the big question is, how much is the atmosphere going to recover after our morning storms? We'll see that kind of develop as we go throughout the day on Tuesday, something to watch very closely and why you need to keep it tuned here on the Weather Channel. But we will see daytime heating, plenty of 70s and 80s that help develop those additional afternoon thunderstorms. And we've got those winds aloft, not only supporting the tornado threat, but also the hail threat. And when we see those updrafts and it draws the moisture way up into the atmosphere, we have that colder air aloft. It's going to allow for those hailstones to grow, especially where we have the strongest updrafts that keep those hailstones suspended for longer and allows them to grow. Eventually, gravity takes over and they fall to the ground. So here's our timing. Here's 6 a.m. through about 11 a.m. You can see the center of that low pressure system and the ongoing activity. Let's watch what happens later in the afternoon as we see our atmosphere try to recover and develop those thunderstorms in areas like Missouri all the way down to Arkansas. Eventually, overnight into places like Chicago, eventually down into southern Illinois, maybe even perhaps over into western portions of Kentucky. That's when we get to very early on Wednesday morning. How much rain are we talking? Well, it could be anywhere from about 1 to 2 inches of rain, perhaps 2 to 3, what you see in those darker green colors. I think it's really going to depend on where the strongest storms form and where we see repeated rounds of thunderstorms. That's where we're going to see the greatest rain threat and flash flooding threat. We've seen a lot of storms go through this corridor so far this year, and then the whole other factor is the wind. We're going to see the winds really pick up along this cold front and along areas surrounding the low pressure. And what that's going to do is it's really going to ramp up our fire threat that's going to be happening in parts of the desert Southwest over into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Lynette.
All right, Molly, and you know, the spring heat is actually what's helping fuel these thunderstorms. Temperatures are really heating up. More than 200 million people will be feeling warmer than average as we go through the rest of today and as we go in through your tomorrow, more of the same, and even after that. So let's talk about what's going on in terms of what we're looking at here. So we do have Oklahoma City. Today's highs coming in about 91 degrees, but check it out. After 10 minutes in a vehicle, yes, we are about 110 degrees. As we go into about 30 minutes, 125 degrees. So it has that greenhouse effect, and this is why we say look before you lock. Don't keep anything precious in that vehicle. As we move through time, yes, we are going to continue to watch these temperatures really surge across the area. That's going to be the name of the game. So we are going to be in shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops because we can see as we go through today, 213 million people will be above average. As we head towards tomorrow, still around 200 million, and we'll see more of the same as we head towards your Tuesday. So we do have a nice warm stretch that's going to be happening, all courtesy of where the jet stream is setting up. It is setting up well north, so we are going to see plenty of warmth in the southern plains for sure. Now check it out. As we go into early next week, you see that cold front, you have the warm front, that warm sector. It's pretty vast, and boy, is that warm southerly flow really going to heat things up ahead of that cold front. So with that, we're talking about temperatures that are going to be in the 80s and the 90s. It's too early. You might like it, but it's too early. And I know a lot of you are like, no, Lynette, it's too early. We can see possible records out of this as well. As we look for today, we can see in Oklahoma City that temperature at 91 degrees showed you how that car continues to heat up. Look what happens down off towards San Antonio. We're in the mid 80s there. Atlanta, you're going to be coming in at 84 degrees for today, well above average. Again, flirting with those records. We may even break it in Concordia, Kansas. Look at the forecast, 91, that record 90 degrees. Dodge City, 92 degrees is the forecast, and that record is 91 set back in 2003. Paul?
Look into the heart of the Old West, Roswell, New Mexico. It's a beautiful morning, right? It looks great, but there's danger lurking. And a significant fire danger is brewing this week, where strong winds will really start to crank up tomorrow ahead of our severe weather threat just to the east of you in New Mexico. And all of that wind is going to fuel the fire threat. It's almost like that giant fireplace, the bellows, the device you use to fan the flames in old home fireplaces, except this one is all about the wind coming from our atmosphere. And it's been a rough start to fire season. One could argue that fire season lasts year round now, but 2024, you look at the number of acres burned and you compare that to 2023 or the 10-year average, and we are well ahead of both of those as far as the pace for the acres burned. And we could see more fires start and spread once we get to tomorrow. Red flag warnings as well as fire weather watches encompassing a lot of New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, and a lot of West Texas too. That's where the winds will pick up today. But look what happens tomorrow. We go from elevated fire danger to critical fire danger for many of us, what you see in that orange color. And what does critical fire danger mean? Well, it means that the fires that start can spread very easily. They're very difficult to control. They're very difficult to contain. And that's where you want to be so careful outside not to start anything that can start a fire, because they can just race across the landscape and all of a sudden they're out of control and they're burning many, many acres. So let's look at the wind speeds for today. You can see them picking up in the afternoon and evening, but tomorrow is when they really start to crank areas like El Paso as well as Roswell, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. This is by Monday evening, and that includes areas like Colby and Amarillo and everywhere in between, where, Paul, we could see wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour.
Right, let's talk about what's going on across the Northeast, right? We're going to be expecting some thunderstorms, and some of those thunderstorms are going to be a little bit frisky as we go through the rest of today. So we'll have a couple of rounds, and the bulk of the activity really going to be happening as we go in through tonight. Of course, we never like that timing, right? When it's dark, they come rain wrapped, you can't see them. So this is what we're working with. Let's put this into motion for you, and we can see what's going on. We had that first round as we go through this morning, some heavy rain coming in. We can see this around Binghamton, just to the north of that, I really will say. We can see this this around 2 o'clock this afternoon. If you are going to be out and about, make sure you do take that rain gear. You're going to need it. It will put down a lot of rain in some of these spots, and a lot of these spots don't need any more rain across the northeast. The next round comes through around 7 o'clock this evening. So we're seeing this around New Milford, back off towards Binghamton. We're seeing this as well. This continues to move down off towards the south and the east. So Scranton, you're going to be seeing this around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Yes. So again, we're dark at this point. You can kind of see some of those individual cells trying to work their way through. You're seeing some of those dark reds, that's some heavier rain, even moderate rain in the yellows as well. So we go put this into motion. We're now around Pittsburgh, and we can see around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Nothing. We'll take that. Not too bad. But later on in the evening, that's when it starts to move for you, Pittsburgh. So just to the north, we're seeing this around Butler, Puxatawny. We're going to see this as well, and then it starts to sag on down off towards the south. So again, we're going to be in the dark, but we'll get another round around the same spots, around Butler, around Youngstown, around Puxatawny before it drops to the south around Pittsburgh. Some heavy rain really coming in there. So along these interstates, it is going to be really a wet go of it. It's going to be a nasty go of it because remember, we could see all modes of severe weather. So the damaging gusty winds will come along with these storms, also some hail with the storms, and then also we can't rule out maybe an isolated tornado. As we head to the capital of Pennsylvania, we can see what's bearing down on Harrisburg here. Sealands Grove, you'll be in on this again. Look at the timing. It's going to be dark. It could be overnight that we'll continue to watch these storms move through the area. As we head over towards Boston, more of the same as we continue through the rest of today. Most of the day, I'll say, is on the dry side. We might see a little shower move through around 2 o'clock, but then more showers try to work their way in here as we head towards the evening hours. So, Paul, definitely the Northeast has to stay weather aware for today, for sure.
Yeah, we got a big